Hello and welcome. Today, we're diving into a really powerful story that I think a lot of us can relate to. It's all about the hidden cost of being the person who always helps out. So let me just start by asking you this. Does this feel familiar? You've poured your energy, your time, and your effort into helping everyone around you. But when the tables turn and you're the one who needs a hand, it's just crickets. It's a lonely place to be, and it's right where our story starts.
Now hold on. This isn't about becoming selfish. Not at all. It's a story about how helping everyone, without any limits, can slowly and quietly break you down. We're going to see this through the eyes of a really good-hearted donkey living in a peaceful little valley.
All right, so let's meet our main character. This donkey was, by all accounts, the kindest animal around, the go-to guy for any problem. But his greatest strength was also his biggest weakness. He literally never said no. And that put him in what we're calling the kindness trap.
I mean, his days were just packed. He was carrying heavy stuff for the cow, pulling carts for the goat, helping the sheep move their food around. And here's the kicker. He did all this for animals who never, ever helped him back. It was completely one-sided, all driven by this one simple belief.
This was his core philosophy. He genuinely thought that if he just kept giving, kept serving, kept making himself available, that one day he'd earn the respect he so desperately wanted. But, as you can probably guess, that's not exactly how things panned out.
And this is where we see the huge gap between what the donkey was hearing and what he was actually experiencing. The price he was paying for never saying no was becoming really clear. So on one hand, he heard all the right words. Oh, you're so kind, or you're just so good. But what was happening in reality? Well, nobody seemed to notice when he was exhausted. When his legs were literally shaking from the effort, they just ignored it. And when his back was aching, they just asked for one more thing. And of course, something had to give. One day, his body just couldn't take it anymore. He just collapsed, overwhelmed by pain, completely exhausted. And get this. As he was lying there, the goat just walks by and asks if he can carry some bags later. Nobody even asked if he was okay.
That night, all alone, this was the question that was just haunting him, turning over and over in his mind. And it's such a classic people-pleaser paradox, right? You give and you give and you give, but at the end of the day, you're the one who feels completely empty and unseen.
But sometimes, it's at our lowest point that we find a little bit of wisdom. And for the donkey, it came from a very unexpected source. An old, wise turtle who had been watching from the sidelines decided it was time to step in and offer a little bit of tough love.
And this is the line that changes everything. The turtle looks at him and says, "You are not kind. You are available." Wow. Just let that sink in for a second. With just those 6 words, the donkey's whole world starts to crack open. So what in the world does that mean, to be available instead of kind? Well, it means you're helping without any boundaries. It means your help isn't a gift anymore. It's just expected. It's a given. And because it's always there for the taking, it completely loses its value. Okay, let's really break this down because it is a game changer. Kindness is an active choice. It's something you decide to do and it earns you respect while protecting your energy. But availability, that's just a habit. It gets taken for granted and it absolutely drains you, leaving nothing left for yourself. Now, the turtle's advice wasn't to just stop being helpful altogether. No, it was much smarter than that. It was to be discerning, to focus his energy on the animals who actually showed him respect, and to stop pouring it into the ones who just took and took and took. So, armed with this totally new perspective, the donkey was ready for a change. And this next part is all about that first, probably terrifying, but ultimately freeing moment when he finally set a boundary. So the next morning, the cow comes up and asks for help with extra loads. And this time, the donkey doesn't just automatically agree. He takes a deep breath, he says a simple clear no, and then he calmly explains why. "I am tired. I will not carry more today." That's it. Simple, direct, and completely honest.
And who? The reaction was not great. The cow was shocked, said he'd changed. The goat laughed at him. The sheep called him selfish. But here's the crazy part. Even with all that negativity coming at him, on the inside, the donkey felt lighter, like a massive weight had been lifted off his shoulders.
And over the next few days, something really interesting happened. Some of the animals just stopped talking to him. Basically, the users filtered themselves out of his life.
But the animals who genuinely respected him, they stayed. And they started treating him differently, like an equal. They even started offering to help him. A few weeks go by, and the donkey is like a whole new animal. He's calmer, he's healthier, he's more confident. He'd finally learned the most important lesson the valley had to offer. When the old turtle came back to check on him, the donkey summed up his new outlook perfectly. He said, "I still help, but I no longer destroy myself to do it." He learned that you have to be kind to yourself first, because you can't pour from an empty cup.
So, this story leaves us with some really amazing takeaways. That being helpful without boundaries can actually be dangerous. That kindness without self-respect is just a form of self-harm. That saying no isn't a selfish act, it's a wise one. It's all about protecting your energy for the people who truly deserve it. And really, that's what this all comes down to. This story isn't just about a donkey. It's about any of us who have a habit of giving a little too much of ourselves away. So I'll leave you with this to think about. Your kindness is one of your greatest strengths. How are you going to choose to use it wisely?